Welcome to our next video lecture in our continuation of Unit 3, our learning unit. Today we are going to be focusing on operant conditioning. And operant conditioning, in contrast to classical conditioning, as you recall, classical conditioning is that associative learning, where you make an association between a UCS and a CS, or a natural stimuli and a trained stimuli. These associations typically happen automatically, and these are happening for both animals and humans. Operant conditioning, on the other hand, looks more at voluntary behavior and the rewards and punishments that guide our behavior. So we have to kind of look at historically, we have to look at two important figures. The first one is a man named Edward Thorndike, who created what's called the law of effect. And I mean, be ready for this life-changing theory. This life-changing theory he created was that the more there is a positive outcome for your behavior, the more likely you are to continue it. And behaviors that yield negative outcomes, you are less likely to continue. I'm sure that is an earth-shattering, life-changing theory, but at the time, it was pretty important. He coined this the law of effect. Essentially, again, when your behavior is followed by good outcomes or consequences, you're going to keep doing them. When it's followed by negative consequences or outcomes, you're going to stop them. Well, then our man B.F. Skinner came in and he decided to build on this idea of law of effect. And he said, well, there are multiple ways in which we can follow a behavior with something that a person likes, and multiple ways we can follow behavior with something people don't like. And that's where he extended and created what we know today as operant conditioning. So operant conditioning is based on 4 different types of outcomes or consequences. So this chart can be a little overwhelming, so make sure you kind of stick with me as you're hearing how it works. So operant conditioning has 4 different ways of creating or responding to human behavior. One is positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, negative punishment. So let's break down these words. First of all, the word positive. I want you to write down positive means added. Positive just means the addition of something. Negative, in contrast, means the subtraction of something, losing something, something being taken away. Reinforcement makes a human or an animal happy. Punishment makes you sad. So putting those words together, positive reinforcement, it's when something is added or given to you, something you want is given that makes you happy. Positive punishment is when something is added that you don't want added that makes you sad. Negative reinforcement, negative being taken away. Something is taken away that you want taken away, so it makes you happy. Negative punishment, something is taken away that you don't want to be taken away, and that effect makes me sad. So looking in the top right or top left quadrant, positive reinforcement. A simple example is you get good grades and maybe your parents reward you with money. You do your chores, you get your allowance. You take out the trash and your parent says, good job. Positive reinforcement, we're just adding something that makes us happy. This, hence the arrow, increases the likelihood of repeating behavior. If you get something added that you like for a behavior, you are going to continue to do that behavior that yielded that outcome that you liked. Another type of reinforcement is negative reinforcement. This is where something is taken away that you want taken away that makes you happy. For example, let's say if you do all your homework in a semester and then your teacher takes away your lowest test score because you've completed your homework. That low test score, you don't want that anymore. And so the teacher taking that away makes you happy. So it's where something is taken away that you want taken away, and that outcome makes you happy. Another simple example is you take Tylenol when you have a headache. The act of you taking Tylenol, the outcome is that your headache goes away. Therefore, you are being negatively reinforced. You are more likely to take Tylenol next time because of the negative reinforcement that has already occurred for you. You are more likely to do your homework because of the negative reinforcement that occurred for you with your teacher. So just like positive reinforcement, this increases the rate of operant responding, or it increases the likelihood that you're going to repeat a behavior. On the other side, we have positive punishment and negative punishment. Punishment has in common that we don't want these things. They make us sad. Any punishment in any capacity we don't want. The difference being positive punishment means in something that I don't want is added. So I sneak out and my parents make me do extra chores the next day. I don't want to do extra chores. That's something that's added. Or you, you drop your cell phone and it breaks, and so your parents make you pay for the cell phone. Or you get a speeding ticket, so you have to pay for your car insurance. These things are added that you don't want to happen. The goal here is that it's going to decrease the repetition of behavior. You are going to decrease your operant responding. You're going to be less likely to do that behavior again in the future because you didn't like that outcome that happened. And finally, there's negative punishment. Negative punishment, again, punishment is something you don't want. Negative means that something is taken away. This is where something is taken away that you don't want taken away. So you sneak out and your parents take your cell phone. You get a ticket and your parents take away your car. You, you hit your brother and so you lose your gaming system. So this, just like positive punishment, decreases your rate of operant responding. This makes you less likely to repeat that behavior. So the goal in punishments is to extinguish behavior. The goal in reinforcements is to increase the behavior. Now we're going to see in class where sometimes we are reinforced for behaviors that really we don't want to keep doing. And sometimes we're punished for behaviors maybe we do want to keep doing. And so we're going to look in class more at kind of the nuances of positive and negative reinforcement and positive and negative punishment, where the outcome of increasing or decreasing the repetition of behavior is not necessarily what we want to happen. So that's going to be really our focus in class. So a quick way to figure out what the answer is if you're ever given a scenario to identify whether or not it's positive reinforcement, positive punishment, or negative punishment is to first identify in the scenario what is the cause and the effect. Meaning the cause is what do I do or does the person do? And effect, what happens to them? Then you're going to cross off the cause because nobody cares about the cause. Causes, what you do does not shape your behavior. It's the effects that happen to you that shape your behavior. So we don't care about the cause. We are going to focus just on the effect. And then you're going to start with the second line. You see the second line is for reinforcement and punishment. Does that effect that's on there make me happy or sad? If it makes me happy to have that happen to me, I'm going to give myself an R. If it makes me sad, I'm going to give myself a P. Then I'm going to do the first line and say, is that thing that makes me happy or sad something that was added? You're going to give yourself a P for positive, or something that was taken away. You're going to give yourself an N for taken away. So let's look. You clean your room so your mom stops nagging at you. What's the cause? What's the effect? Well, you clean your room. That's your cause. That's what you do. You get rid of that. Nobody cares. The effect, your mom stops nagging at you. That's all that matters. Your mom stopping nagging at you is what shapes your future behavior. So then we ask ourselves those questions. Your mom stops nagging at you. Does that make you happy or sad? I'm going to go with it probably makes you happy to have your mom stop nagging at you. So you would give yourself an R, reinforcement, as your second letter. Then you say, your mom stopped nagging at you. Is it something added or taken away? Well, stops nagging. That is in the negative, in the taken away. So it's NR, or negative reinforcement. The next one, your parents found out you skipped school, so they made you do all the family chores that weekend. What's the cause? What's in the effect? Well, the cause is you skipped school. The effect is you have to do all the family chores that weekend. Who cares what it is that you did? We just care about the effect because the effect drives the behavior. So in this case, you have to do all the family chores that weekend. Does that make you happy or sad? Odds are that's going to make you sad. So you're going to give yourself a P for the second line for punishment. And is that doing those family chores, is that something in the addition that you have to do or something in the subtraction? Hopefully you see you have to do all. You are doing something. It is the addition. Therefore, the answer to this one is positive punishment. So clean your room so your mom stops nagging, negative reinforcement. Found out you skipped school, so they made you do the family chores. That's positive punishment. So we are going to practice in class about the difference of recognizing in scenarios these different types of operant conditioning, as well as when they don't seem to necessarily make the most amount of sense, but how they can better help us understand some of our personality traits and characteristics. Breaking down just positive and negative reinforcement, there are two different types of reinforcers. One is known as primary and one is known as secondary. Primary reinforcers are those types of reinforcers. So those types of things that get added or the types of things that can be taken away that you naturally respond to. These are the things that you don't have to learn to like. You don't have to learn to respond to. So for example, food is a primary reinforcer. You don't have to teach a baby that they want food. Or another primary reinforcer would be the subtraction of an electric shock. So taking away an electric shock, you don't have to teach somebody that they like that. That is inborn. You already know that coming out of the womb. In contrast, secondary reinforcers are those reinforcers that are learned, i.e. the addition of money. A baby could care less if you waved a $100 bill in front of them. They don't know that that is a reinforcer, that's something that they want, until they learn that that's something they want. Therefore, it's a secondary reinforcer. Or the taking away of a low test score. Again, a baby doesn't know that that's something that they want. That's not inborn, innate. And so that is then a learned reinforcer. We will practice with all this in class. Have a great day.